Hey, what's up? It's Heidi Rain. Welcome back for another episode of Relationship Recovery. Now, if you were in a relationship of any kind with anybody that causes you confusion, you don't know from 1 minute to next what the hell's going on. Uh, you were fine yesterday, now today it's a shit show. Like, what is happening here? Or it causes you resentment. You give and give and give in that relationship, and it's one-sided. There's nothing coming back your way. Anxiety. You don't know from 1 minute to the next where you stand in this relationship, or what's going on, or what's happening, or are we breaking up? Are we together? Are we not together? Or do you really love me? Or do you want to be with me? Or pain. You're hurting on a regular basis. But maybe one of the big four, okay, things that happen: betrayal. You've been betrayed in your relationship, and that could be a blind side. You felt rejected, like somebody, you don't understand what you did wrong. Somebody doesn't want you anymore, or all of a sudden they just leave and you get blindsided. Uh, Abandonment, they get up and leave, or maybe they stay and they reject you a night after night when you're in this relationship, or they don't value you, treasure you, cherish you. You get the point, right? Betrayal, rejection, abandonment, or neglect. You're like, what's it going to take for you to want to be with me and invest in me and spend time with me? So if you can relate to any one of these feelings, that this relationship constantly is causing you any number or multiple of these feelings, it's time for me to help you shed some light on the deeper relationship issues that are causing you pain so that you can break free and have the happily ever after or even after that you've wanted your entire life. And that is for you. I know when you were young, you used to believe in magic. You'd watch a movie or listen to a piece of music or watch the trees in the wind or swing on the swing, or whatever, and you envisioned your happily ever after. You envisioned your true love. You thought, you know what, if I could just have a partner in my life that gets me, sees me, values me, and understands me, I am going to be unstoppable on this planet. And maybe you're in this dynamic and you're like, well, Heidi, I am that person. I'm an amazing person to be with, right? I'm a great partner, but it's my partner. My partner's fucked up. If you could just work on them and fix them, then I can have that happily ever after, because it's they who are the problem. So we're gonna riff on some of this today, and I'm here to tell you, you have heard that saying a million times. It takes two to what? To tango, right? I don't know how to tango. I do know how to like salsa a little bit. I love to salsa, but it takes two to tango. And what that means is we are going to talk about codependent relationships. What the hell is that? How does it happen? What is it? And how does it happen? That is what we're going to talk about today. Keep it super simple. So, if you are a therapist, a clinician, if you're a healer or a coach and you're using these videos or my work in your practice, I just want to take a minute and say thank you so much for sharing the message. I get lots of feedback from you using these videos with your clients or even at treatment centers. And I just really appreciate it and love that you do that. So thank you for helping me help more people. And if you're not a practitioner, a coach, a healer, a teacher, or a clinician, and you're just watching for you, boy, are you in for a treat, because this is mastery level information. You are going to get an education on codependence that you've probably never heard before. Now, not because I'm so awesome, but because one of my skill sets, my zone of genius, that's not for me, it's a gift, is that I can take very complex ideas and make them super, super simple, so that you're going to see yourself, you're going to understand exactly what's been going on in your relationship, and then I'm going to tell you what you need to do to break free from codependency once and for all, so that you can have the love and the relationships that you truly deserve. So how the heck did we get here in this one-sided, ridiculous, pain-inducing, anxiety-creating situation in our intimate relationships? How did we start from the bottom? Now we're here. How did we get here? Well, I'm going to walk you through. I'm going to show you how in normal development, we go on to have these beautiful interdependent relationships. But when we're got some trauma drama going on in our family dynamic, we take a skirt port, we take a pit stop into codependency town. Now, by the way, don't you tell me it's not me that's codependent, it's them. Like I just said, I want you to first think about codependency. You can't miss the what's the first word of codependency? What's the first syllable of codependency? Co. And what does co mean? It means co. We're together. It is me and you. We are co dependent. What's dependent mean? Dependent is another way to say addicted, isn't it? I'm dependent on something. I'm dependent on if it's not healthy, it crosses into the land of what? Addiction, right? So you are codependency. I want you to think about it as co-addicted. You are co-addicted to another person. So, hey, we're going to treat this as if you needed to recover from addiction, just like somebody else would that has too much food or too much alcohol or too much anything else. You've got too much of a relationship challenge, too much of a way you relate in your relationships. And if you can leave that addiction behind you by understanding it, boy, are you going to be free. You're going to be untethered. You're going to be able to create all the love you want, all the magic you want in the world. So, are you ready to dive in? I know I am. I was born for this. Okay, so let's dive in. I have my handy dandy little board here that I'm going to teach on. Don't get seasick. Okay, we're here we are. All right. You're in a normal family. The first phase, you're born into the family. Okay, you're in the womb and you come out and you that's gross. I know, right? I'm coming out. I'm being born. I'm coming out into the world. I'm looking around and I'm like, oh, this is Earth. Welcome. Welcome to Earth. And I'm going to wonder a couple of things. Number one, where the hell am I? What the hell is this? Is this a safe place? And what am I going to do? I'm going to rely on the people that are nurturing me after they've birthed me to make sure I feel what? Safe. That I know that I am in a safe space and that my needs are going to get met. Okay. This phase of life is called dependence. Dependence. And we're meant to be dependent. We're meant to be dependent. We can't feed ourselves. We can't do anything, right? We're useless when we're babies, other than making people feel closer to God, when you look in the baby's eyes, or, whenever you're, seeing a baby, you think, oh, it's so sweet and kind, but they're helpless. They're useless. Babies can't do shit, right? They can't do absolutely anything. So I'm going to rely on you to meet my needs. What needs do I have? All right, let's talk about that for a second. What needs do I have when I am growing up? Well, the first of all, obviously, I have needs to be safe, right? I have bare minimum needs. What are my bare minimum needs? Well, I need to be fed, right? I need to be clothed. I need to be held and touched, which actually, if I'm not held and touched, which is just as important as physical food, okay, being touched and loved and nurtured, so much so that all the studies have proven when somebody doesn't have one or multiple of those things, they already start on the path to relationship issues, to codependence and reactive attachment disorder, and a lot of the other things, which is like we call anxious attachment or avoidant attachment. These attachment issues start to develop along one of these three rungs, and dependence is one of those places. But let's pretend none of that happened and you had an amazing experience in your childhood. I know, right? Because most of us did. Psych. Okay. So, but let's say you had an amazing experience. You got all your needs met. You were clothed, you were fed, you had all these things. You could rely on the people that you were with. Your emotional needs were met. When you had a problem, you could go to the people that you loved and they would be there for you. They would listen to you. They would pour into you or minister to you and say, you know what? I see you have emotional issues. Let me teach you how to regulate your emotions. I have a 10-year-old daughter, and from the time she was 2 years old, I taught her how to yell in a pillow or articulate her anger or show me frustration, show me sadness. From the time she's a baby, just teaching her how to identify her emotions and communicate them. Now, I only did that because when I was growing up, emotions were the devil, honey. You're not talking about in fact, my emotions were annoying to most people that I was around. I don't know if you can relate to that or not, but I would, share how I was feeling. It was like, well, suck it up. What are you, some kind of wussy? Like, what's the matter with you? And I know boys experience that a lot too, but so did a lot of us and Gen X in particular. It's like, man, you got to toughen up. And that's okay. That's a survival skill. But what happens is when you learn very early on in life that you need to toughen up, you start to realize, let's say here, let's look at some of these codependent patterns that can develop. Okay. I'm going to do this at the same time because I can teach it all and kind of intertwine. Codependence to me, when you think of codependence, you probably picture one kind of person. Okay. I'm going to be that person for you right now. I'm going to pretend that I'm walking into a codependence anonymous meeting. Okay. This is probably who you picture. Okay. Just pretend I'm walking in. This is who you picture in a codependent anonymous meeting. God, sorry. Sorry. Did I take that chair from you? No, is that your chair? Okay. Oh my God, I'm so sorry about that. Okay, shh. I'm not here. Just pretend I'm not here. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Okay. Okay. And I'm in the meeting, and then the meeting person goes, hey, we have a new person. It's Heidi. Hey Heidi, do you want to kind of share, what's going on? Well, I don't know. Did anybody else share yet? Does somebody else want to share? I mean, you can go first. No, it's totally fine. No, I don't want to, and that's okay. I'll share later. I'll share tomorrow. So fine. I need to share. You listen. I want to listen to all your problems. Okay, how about you share? And then I'll think about telling you what to do, but I'm not going to share because this is what we pictured. Now, that probably is very accurate for a lot of codependents who are one of the patterns of codependency that is called, oops, when you learn that it's not okay to show your emotions, you become one of my crazy eight codependency pattern behaviors. You become what's called a withholder. Oh shit, this doesn't work. Throw away the markers that don't work because that's lame. Okay, let's go. You become what's called a withholder. Withholder. And that's one of the crazy eight codependency patterns. Now, as a withholder, what you do because you learned it's not safe, you can't, your belief system is independence, you learned, you can't count on anybody else to meet your needs. Okay. Nobody else is coming. It's up to you. So you also learn that your emotions are not well received. You're only really lovable when you put your big girl pants on. You're only really lovable when you're taking care of business. Okay. So in this phase of dependence, if you got the memo that it's all up to you, you develop one of these controlling codependent patterns. You become controlling, a controlling person. And a controlling person is somebody who goes, it's my way, the highway. Nobody could meet my needs as a kid. It was a total shit show. So I learned how to make the breakfast. I learned how to make my own lunch. I learned how to put everything together. I learned how to do my own homework. Nobody helped me. Nobody paid any attention to me. Nobody. So you think when you go into your adult life, the safest way to be is to always be in control. You get into high executive positions. You are in charge. You're the CEO. You're the entrepreneur, and that serves you. Let me just like throw that out there, okay? You likely when you go control and you go it's up to me, da 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 da, you're excellent in a lot of things. You're excellent in your career, you're excellent in your entrepreneurship. Now, we all know you could go a little bit further because codependency is not just an intimate relationship issue. You also probably try to control your employees. You try to control the people that you love when you're in your intimate relationships, don't you? You try to tell them what to do and how to think. In fact, you might also develop another pattern I call the fixer. And the fixer pattern, when you learn it's up to you to take care of everything and you can't rely on other people, you seek people out who are wounded and broken. You have caseloads instead of friendships. You're the rock, you're the glue, you're the one that everybody goes to fix everything. And again, this is all in an attempt, just like the withholder, that vulnerability is bad. And I can't be vulnerable. I have to be tough. I have to be the one with all my shit together all the time. And I'm going to tell you, and you probably know this, I'm going to ask you right now, how are you feeling? How how are you feeling when you're withholding how you really think and feel, and you're not telling people stuff, and you're keeping people at an arm's distance because you really believe that the only person you can trust is yourself? You push everybody away. How does that feel for you at the end of the day? Or when you're fixing everybody and you have all these relationships where, they're all broken and you're like just constantly running to the rescue all the time. You're not a minute for yourself. How do you feel when you have to be in control all the time of everything and you're juggling a million balls? Another thing we do, one of these other patterns of control is we learn that if I'm going to be lovable or loved or safe, I need to be perfect. Now, this perfectionism, codependent behavior, these are all codependent patterns. Withholding is codependent, controlling is codependent, fixing is codependent, and being perfect is codependent. Now, this is a new way to think about it, isn't it?